Welcome back to the Blue Chip Scouting YouTube channel. I am Mike Hrynyshyn. Yes, I know I am the Sun Belt and FCS area scout, but I've been lucky enough to be joined by a very special guest today. He's an offensive lineman at the University of Louisville. He's also got one of the coolest names in the class, I think. It's Adonis Boone. Adonis, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing, boss man?
I'm really good. I mean, this is something I've been excited about. I watched a little bit of your film, got the guys up Blue Chip. I'm like, yo, you got to check this guy out. I think he's going to be a bit of a riser this year. So I'm trying to get my guys on board before it becomes the hot thing to do, before it becomes a cool thing. We're scouting hipsters here, I think.
For sure, for sure.
All right, man. So I got a couple of questions for you. We're going to kind of go through. Yeah, I was looking at your recruiting profile. You were a 3-star coming out of Daytona, but I looked more in depth on your file. You had 28 offers coming out of high school. What's that like? Because 3-stars generally don't get that type of hype.
I mean, like, it's crazy because it really came out of nowhere. Like, I had got hurt in 8th grade. I broke my femur bone, and I wasn't able to play until, like, really my sophomore spring.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so it was crazy. Like, my junior year, I had a pretty good junior year. And after that, like, my first offer came, then it just kept coming in. After my senior year, it was just like, wow. Like, it just came out of nowhere, for real.
Now, again, you are in a bit of a recruiting hotbed because you're from Daytona. So there's a lot of guys kind of coming out of that area. But, yeah, I mean, also, you from what I could tell from your profile, you stood out a bit. They had you listed at 6'5" and 280 in 12th grade.
Yes, sir. I was all of 280. Yes,
jeez, sir. Man. I can't even imagine being that big. I'm 6'3" and 220. So, I mean, wow. I can almost imagine it, but, man, I can't imagine being that big. That's got to be tough to maintain. I can imagine, like, especially at 17, 18.
Yeah, I was like 220 in 7th grade.
Oh my God, that's insane. Keep it with the whole recruiting thing. You initially committed to University of South Florida, ultimately flipped to Louisville. What was it about Louisville that ultimately won you over, got the signature?
I mean, like, so if you know anything about my signing class, we had Tutu, Javian Hawkins, Rob Hicks. Like, we all knew each other just from in Florida, everybody know each other. We all play against each other. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's like me and Hawk had a conversation with each other because we had to play each other that season and everything.
Oh, like, so you were opponents in high school?
Yeah, we were opponents in high school. Okay. We got the best of us by like a touchdown, so it is what it is. Oh, it's just like we all came together, like, let's go turn Louisville up, like I felt like I didn't need to be closer to home anymore. Like at first, I thought USF was the right decision because it was close, and I did have a good connection with the O-line coach, but I need to get away. I need to change.
Yeah, I can imagine that if like everybody from your recruiting circle in that area is going to Louisville, right. At least you know some people, so that sense of familiarity, that makes sense. I actually didn't know that you were the same recruiting class as those guys.
Yes, sir.
Now, while you've been at Louisville, there's been a coaching change. You were originally recruited by Coach Petrino, and then obviously he's no longer with the program. He came in, he was replaced by Scott Satterfield. So how's the program changed with Scott Satterfield, and why did you decide to stick it through when a lot of players, when the coach that recruits them leaves, they're entering the transfer portal?
I mean, at the end of the day, after Coach Petrino got fired, my whole focus was to win. Like we went 2-10. So it was like when Coach Satterfield came in, I know he come from a winning culture. He known for building programs up. He built Appalachian State up. So it was like, I'm gonna stick this thing out. I'm gonna trust in him, and I still trust him to this day. And it's like we built a culture here now. Like it's a standard. So it's like. And you're going to see this season, honestly, like we all feel we're on the same page. We know what our standard is. Before, it wasn't really like that. So it's like, I'm sticking through it. I'm sticking through it.
Like I said, I saw that. I'm like, as soon as I realized you were brought in by Coach Petrino, I'm like, that's rare because like usually there's at least rumblings that a guy's hinting at transferring. There was nothing on you, so you were through and through committed to Louisville, which is nice to see.
For sure.
Now you've played both guard and tackle in your time with the Cardinals. Is there a spot that you prefer? Because I mean, I know when you got there was a pretty large left tackle there that we'll talk about in a minute. But
if people don't know, like my freshman year, like they moved me to tight end and fullback.
A tight end?
I could show you. I got a film at tight end and fullback blocking. I swear. But it's just I would say guard is my favorite position. Like. I love tackle. I love being out there in that island. It's great out there. But it's like, I also from this past spring, when I was at guard, like, it just felt amazing. Like, I was doing what I want.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then my sophomore year, I was rotating in that guard. When Makai was at left tackle, and he had got hurt, I went in at left tackle. But it was like, guard, I love it. Because I'm so long, I'm able to do what I want in there. Yeah.
I can relate because believe it or not, I actually played guard in high school. Now, obviously, I played guard in Canada where we're a lot smaller in average. And I mean, I was playing guard at like 5'10" and like $180, but
that's crazy.
oh yeah, dude. Canadian high school ball and American high school ball could not be more polar opposites. Like a bit off tangent. We had a kid when I was coaching at my old high school who was getting looks from the States to play safety, but because of his size, he had to play defensive tackle.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. It would definitely be a culture shock for some of y'all that are down in like the South to try to come up here and just watch a high school game. Be like, why is everyone so small?
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's definitely crazy.
Outside of football, because I mean, we could talk about football all day. I know that you strike me as the type of guy that would love to talk football all day, but what are some things you like to do outside of football? Are you more of a gamer? What do you do?
I'm a gamer. I am. I play the PS5. If I'm not working out or doing extra work, I come home, play the P5, like relax my mind.
I think it's something about just the offensive line in general. Every college offensive lineman I've spoken to, they're just like, yeah, when I'm not throwing people halfway across the field, I'm just gonna go home and I'm gonna play some Madden or Call of Duty or something.
Definitely, I love Madden. I love Call of Duty, 2K.
It's a shame that like the old NCAA football video games weren't around because like, I can imagine with like today's college athletes, that you would be just like running up the score of Louisville.
I would probably play that game every day.
I think I love that there are still people to this day that play that game, like updated rosters and everything. I can tell you're going to be someone that's going to be excited next summer when that game finally drops after 8 years. Man, that game would have stopped coming out when you were in like 9th grade. That just hit me, man, and it made me feel really old. Yeah,
because I was 15 in 9th grade.
Oh God, man,
that's crazy.
I was 18.
That's crazy.
the fact that I get to do this, and it's like, wow, like these guys are so young compared to me. I started doing this when prospects were older than me. Now they're like several years younger, and I'm like, man, I feel old. Because especially these linemen, they're like 4 years younger than me and tower over me.
Man, that's crazy.
So we mentioned him earlier. You're hoping to be the next guy on the offensive line to come out of Louisville after Mekhi Becton. Was there any pressure that you felt either personally or with the coaching staff or even with the fan base to be the guy after the guy and fill his literal gigantic shoes? Because Mekhi is just like the largest human being you can imagine.
I mean, there was no pressure to me, you feel me? Like, all my life, I always felt like there was a chip on my shoulder. Like, Mekhi is a great player, like, a great friend, too. Like, he taught me a lot when he was here, like, about the tackle position, about the offensive line position, like, alongside Coach Les. So it was like, you know what, I looked at him as another coach, as a brother. He helped prepare me for that. Like, so it was like, it was no pressure. It's just like I had to get out of my own head, just do what I have to do and go out in the field and just do me.
Yeah, man. I mean, Makai is someone that I could tell it wasn't really talked about a lot when he was coming out, that he really was kind of the leader of not only just the line, but the offense in general. So it's good to hear that, like, he was kind of working on the rest of his team, and so we're going to be there after him. I mean, it really speaks to the culture, I think, that Coach Satterfield's tried to build, like you were mentioning. And again, sticking with Makai, is there any advice he's passed on to you about, like, what it takes to get to the next level, or how to get yourself prepared for the next level?
I mean, really, like him and Coach Leffler, like, he was just telling me, like, just emphasize finishing. And that's what they look for at the next level, like, finish. And obviously, like, just make sure you take out all the negative that you feel like will hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, for me, I feel like flexibility was a big thing. So what I've been doing was stretching a lot. So I feel a lot better.
Oh, that's good.
So it was just like making sure you prepare, good preparation. That's it.
For sure. And again, like I said, if there's anyone you want to learn finishing blocks from, it's Makai Becton.
Yeah.
He had some fun tape, and you would have been a sophomore his last year there, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. That's a scary side, because again, you're 6'5", about 320-ish, according to Louisville, something like that. And he makes you look small.
He was huge. He is huge.
I couldn't believe, I remember when I saw his measurables, I'm just like, no, there's no way he's that big. And then I looked, I'm like, no, they might be lying. He might be bigger than that.
Man, that man is huge. He's huge.
Now, moving forward a little bit into this season, I mean, this is kind of a big year for the Cardinals. I mean, it's the third year under Coach Satterfield. They were 8-5 in year one. Last year was a bit of a setback for, most of the country, because there's so much up in the air. I remember I was talking to an offensive lineman for Virginia Tech that said, like, on a week-to-week basis, we were, having different players the day before pulled out due to COVID protocol. So, I mean, tough to get a foothold. 4-7 season, not great, but it's excusable with, everything that's going on, trying to play during a global pandemic. What's the goal for this season? Things seem to be settling down nationally with the pandemic. Hopefully, we not dealing with games getting canceled last minute or postponed or anything.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a consistency. What's the goal for the team this year? And then what are your personal goals this year?
The goal for the team this year, like, obviously, like, COVID starting to open things back up, like, everything started to be full capacity. So it's like, we don't have no excuses. We know what we capable of. We know what we have on our team as far as players and coaches go. Like I said, we built the culture, we built the standard. So we know we just got to go out there and play to our standard, what we know. So at the end of the day, like, everybody not expecting us to go out there and have a perfect season, but we know we're capable of it this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, our goal is to HCC championship, really.
I like it. And then, like, for you, what are your personal goals? Like, it's hard with offensive linemen because there's not really stats. If it was a quarterback, like, oh yeah, I want to throw 40 touchdowns, but like, you're an offensive lineman, they don't really keep track of stats. Like, what's your goal? Like, just in terms of this season?
I mean, for me, it's just like, being that I'm back at guard, like, just
I've never seen a human being happier to play guard right now. The look on your face.
Like, it's just because you gotta understand, like, the spring I had. If you seen the film, it's ridiculous. But it's like,
I'm gonna have to check out that spring game for sure.
We didn't even have a spring. We had a scrimmage, but but the practices, like, I'm gonna send them to you.
Okay.
But, it's just like, for me, I feel like I'm capable of an All-American season.
All right. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't feel like I should fall short of that.
Personally, that's the stuff I like to hear, because I want to get in on the ground floor when the hype starts to take off.
For sure that. Yeah, I'm definitely, I feel like I'm capable of that, and I'm ready for it.
I think so too, man. I think so too. Like I said, I mean, I reached out to you. I was a big fan of your game. It's one of the reasons I wanted to set this up.
Yes, sir.
What was your personal best game last year?
My personal best game.
I like to let the players I talk to just go off for like 2 minutes and talk about like why they kicked ass. So
I would say either Wake Forest or Miami.
oh yeah, those are good ones. What was the one I was watching? Syracuse was another good one that I was watching the other day. Yeah, you did pretty well against Syracuse. They had a small defensive line that you could just start tossing around.
Like Wake Forest, we had a pretty good. It was fun because like we didn't have our starting center, our starting guard, so we was left with like 2 freshmen.
Oh no,
that never played. So it was like at first we was going pretty slow. Like everybody, they didn't think we was gonna win. But like when halftime came, we went back out there as a unit, and like we dominated that D line. And then Miami game, it was like every time I play Miami, it feel personal, you know. Like I didn't get off by Miami, and you feel me? I'm from Florida. I feel like I should have every Florida off, you know.
You're right. I didn't even think about that. You got Gainesville, right? Florida offered you, right?
I had Florida State.
Oh, Florida State. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I had Florida State last minute. But yeah, it was just like, you know what? Every time I play these teams, they're gonna feel me.
I like it. I like that added chip on your shoulder. And then I guess that kind of leads into my last question for you. Is there a particular game that you have circled on this year's calendar, and which game and why? I think I might know because Miami, you mentioned that, but
Florida State.
You just like playing in the state of Florida, I'm gathering.
Florida State and Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, eh?
Ole Miss. Yeah, first game Ole Miss.
That's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna set the tone for us as a team, as a unit, like as an offensive line unit. I feel like that's gonna set the tone for us.
See, when I wrote that question out, I went, I'm asking a guy from Louisville. I know the first one he's gonna say is Kentucky, and then I went, wait, Florida. He's gonna face like 3 Florida teams.
Yeah,
I
mean, like. Kentucky, like I haven't played Kentucky in 2 seasons, but one thing about I hate Kentucky. I really do. Like I didn't like coming into Louisville. I didn't understand the rivalry for real. But like after losing to them back to back, like it was like, man, I really hate them.
Now, I just have one kind of quick question because some schools are doing this different than others. Obviously, with last year, because COVID, the NCAA ruled that you didn't lose the season of eligibility. Some schools have done it as like, like they just kept you as the same, technical year. So if you were a junior going into last year, they still list you as a junior. Is Louisville doing that, or are they listing you as a senior this year? Or
to be honest, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but they said I have an extra year.
Yeah. COVID just here's the thing. There are schools, and Louisville's not one of them, thankfully, but there are schools where I can never figure out what year a player is because they'll list them academically what year they are instead of like, so if you redshirt and you're a junior, so you're like you're a junior in terms of playing, they'll list you as a senior. It's like, no, but he's got another year left.
Oh, wow.
So I'm so glad Louisville is not one of those schools.
For sure.
All right, man. Thank you again for coming on, Adonis. That's Adonis Boone. You're playing right guard this year?
Yes, sir.
Right guard for University of Louisville. I can't wait for the season to start up. So you kick some ass, like you said, week 1 against Ole Miss. That's going to be fantastic. I think I checked. That's an ESPN primetime game too. So. Oh, with the hype that Ole Miss is gathering, this is going to be a big year for you. Hopefully another turnaround year for Louisville. Again, thank you so much for joining me, man. Can't wait to see how you progress this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.